So we were last talking about this idea of, okay, so let's create a new world order. But then you said, well, the problem why it's always going to fail is because there is here. But then someone's going to say, okay, now I resign to that. Oh, okay, so I'm not going to try to make new world order, or I'm not going to try to, because it's already there, it's here. But isn't there something positive or beneficial in trying to produce it?
Yeah, it puts you up against the wall.
What do you mean by that?
Well, it puts you up against the realization that you can't make it happen. No matter how successful you are, you cannot make it happen.
So tried to make that happen.
Yeah. And only those who refuse to accept that fact will stay up against the wall long enough to discover there never was a wall.
Okay, so the only thing that can create is upright consciousness where people, oneness and everything. But it's reminding me of that story with Moses, where he has to go to Pharaoh, let my people go. Okay, well maybe not, and then he has to keep going and going and going and going. It keeps happening again and again and again. They kept on trying to make it happen, right? Bashing their head against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Until finally there is here type idea.
Mm-hmm.
But also in the Dead Poet Society, yeah, just talk about that really quick. Does that guy he got the courage to try to get the girl and stuff like that, remember?
Oh, yeah.
But then the girl's boyfriend beat him up, but then he went back to the girl and he read her the poem and stuff. And any thoughts with all this?
No, that was good. See, that's all a part of the exploration, the courage to explore, to step outside the boundaries.
So, what I want to talk about is talking about the. Okay, one more thing before this, and then I want to talk about the. What was it? The separation of races, and then also I want to talk about okay, but first, just one more thing about the standing on the edge and the book on the edge. Can you describe that metaphor?
Yeah, well, see, again, it goes back to we need a nest. We need a comfortable nest. We need surroundings. We need to feather our nest so that we have a sense of stability, because that's what enables us to grow to the point where we become strong enough to go beyond the nest. But when you step out of the nest, and the metaphor that I use is standing on the edge of a cliff, see, you're not then surrounded by your support system. And the question is, can you remain stable when you're not surrounded by your familiar support system? But you have to keep doing that in order eventually to become strong enough to see that it's not your support system that provides stability. It's being on the edge of discovery. It's being in the process of expanding your awareness. That's where your stability comes from. Your stability, your sustainability does not come from your support system. There is no support system. There's only the flow. But you have to keep stepping out beyond what's previously served as a support system in order to discover what truly supports you.
Wait, what was it that you said truly supports you? I was daydreaming at that one point. Awareness, or what did you say it was?
Well, the flow. Or the psalmist says, "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the protection of the Almighty." Your support system is the Almighty. It's the flow.
So, yeah, that's that.
So you have to be yeah.
So the way I like to look at that is basketball. So if I'm thinking, okay, my support system is I put my foot like this, I do this, I sing this song in my head and it helps me to play. Your magnificent obsessions. Maybe if I sing a rap song in my head as I play, it's gonna make me. You have all these different formulas and stuff. This is your support system. Or I need to have this and this, but really all that puts you in danger because now you're focusing more on the self and you're focusing on different things, and now you're making more and more problems. When the only true support system was the flow. When you let go and you're just in the moment, but even beyond the moment, you're in the timeless. and everything dissolves, and it's just like, whoa,
What
that's the
what I call
support.
the eternal moment.
Yeah. Any other thoughts of that, Grandpa?
No, you got it.
So, let's see. Okay, so Grandpa, here's the question. Is the answer, I'm talking to my friend the other day, my friend's saying, this guy, he's saying, there's a lot of evidence that, I think the big problem is, there's a lot of evidence that the best thing is to separate the races, that's what we need, is to just have, there's a lot of evidence that shows this, it's not good to mix the races, we need to separate the races. What do you say to this, Grandpa? Should we separate the races?
Well, see, that can be asked by dunking that question in different coffee. See, if you're coming from seeing the world as good guys and bad guys, etc., then there's one answer. But if you see it from the perspective that there is only oneness, then you grant people the right to make their own unique contribution. Just like back again to the ocean. There are no two waves in the ocean that are identical, but they're all a part of the expressions of the ocean. So, same way in your body, if you didn't have separate organs, the dance which we call me could not sustain itself. So there need to be separate dances, but they're all a part of the same one dance. So to separate them is to take the liver out and put it over here, and the heart over here, and heart. That destroys the whole dance.
Any other thoughts there, Griffin?
No.
So I remember you said that if you were to do that, that's settling for duality.
Yes.
That's settling for duality. But then you also said, though, but to try to force a globalism, new world order, everybody has to come together and we all have to mix, and, that's an immortality project. That's trying to make things happen.
Yeah.
So
It's still based on the idea of separation.
So any other thoughts I give you?
See, there's no potential in that.
You still okay?
Yeah. To explode into a new realized potential. There's no synergy in that.
Any other thoughts I give you?
That's pluralism.
Pluralism. And what is pluralism?
Pluralism says there is no such thing as unity, as one truth, one reality. Everything is equally legitimate. There is no such thing as a heart and a liver and a pancreas. It's all the same.
There is no truth. Every truth is equal. We're all equal. Everything is equal.
We're all equal, separate beings.
But it's still based on separation consciousness.
Yeah.
Everything's equal, but everything's separate still.
Yeah.
You're a black guy, you're a white guy, you're this and you're that. Not realizing that everything is one.
Right.
So remember that woman who dressed up as she was, or any other thoughts on this, Grandpa? Well, so we'll talk about the arc of the universe, but also what about that woman who dressed up herself as black? Remember that white woman who's dressing herself as black, and you're saying, okay, that's a step in the right direction because she's not. She knows that she's not. Okay, so what was it you were gonna say, Grandpa?
No.
She knows that remember that woman, Rachel or whatever. She was white, but then she dressed up as black, and they were making a big thing about this on the news and stuff. But you're saying, yeah, it's true. She recognizes she's not her physical body. She's not a white person. But then she creates a new identity, ego identity, a black person. And she says, that's what I am. But that's not right either. Really, she is the flow.
Yeah.
The flow is when you let go of all ego identity and you're one with the all. Any thoughts, Grandpa?
No, you got it.
So, remember that story where Jesus... Well, can you talk about that arc of the universe really quick? Martin Luther King quote.
Yeah, what is it?
The arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards justice. And you also talk about the bell curve.
Yeah, there's an evolutionary process of what some scientists call complexification. There's the oneness already exists, and at the same time, we're in the process of realizing that oneness, and all of the things from quarks and quasars and stars and galaxies. It's all moving toward uh, realizing of that potential. Now, I don't fully understand that, but it's very clear. At least there's sufficient evidence to say that the whole universe is engaged in what Bucky Fuller called the anti-entropic reordering function, working in dynamic counterbalance to our expanding universe of entropically increasing randomness, disorderliness. See, there is entropy occurring throughout the universe, but there's also synergy. There's also a force at work, and that's what um, King was saying about it bends toward justice. There is, in the midst of this entropy process of things dissipating, there is an invisible force of entropy, of creativity, that's moving toward a realization of oneness.
Any other thoughts there, Gabba?
No.
So let's stop this one and we can make another one really quick. All right, ready?